no bebre kura GKS ka kura sen free ho ko because ofiri ba bi na aba no antimi out wo so obeba gi se onya keska enti o mo sen gi transportation free ho ansa no atimi de ayeden aba na menu ade ho no no
da be no aka kire se beba
sesi ya mitie me returning officer wo ha ne nkomo na oni media dia o se nyame ya adoma eyi niema no be ye complete ne e kina e betimi ato aba no.
We will be monitoring development in other electoral areas and update you subsequently. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Sokoban.
That was my colleague Abubakar Ibrahim from Sokoban Dabai in the Ashanti region, where the district level elections, which were scheduled to take place today, has been suspended, or if you like, postponed to tomorrow, Wednesday, because of unavailability of electoral material. He spoke to some people in the community who say that they were looking forward to voting today. They had taken time off work and so on. And so it's unfortunate that it's not happening. Now, this is the first report we have. We'll bring you some more as we go. But I've been joined by Roland. Roland, we were talking earlier about the readiness of the EC for today's elections. And we've just been told that from one area in the Ashanti region has been suspended or postponed to tomorrow.
And I also have had a number of reports as well. From the eastern region, we have in the Sohum area, the Achimebwakwa area, or many of the localities, even in Greater Accra. You go to the Ashaman constituency, which is my home constituency originally. There's Na Amui electoral area, for example. We're told that hurriedly the officials are now trying to put together their machines and set up, etc. It speaks to the bigger picture about the readiness of the Electoral Commission on voting day. And it doesn't matter, irrespective of what type of election it is, whether it is a district level election or the main presidential parliamentary elections, the actions of the Electoral Commission then gives the stakeholders, which will also include the media, civil society, the clergy, etc., and even the main voters themselves or the political parties, whether the actions based on precedent that has been set by the Electoral Commission will portend a certain posture of behavior or the way they work on election day. And we don't have to take some of these things for granted because we're just a year to the next election, and it is an election, which means that we have a second term, and each time we have a certain transition from a two-term period, it's very much characterized with a lot of chaos and acrimony. And that is why the trust for the Electoral Commission needs to be at the optimum.
It's key. It's key. And so we're hoping that what we're hearing so far about the non-readiness of the EC in some areas to conduct the election is one isolated case. We hope it is. But we have been joined now on the line by Evans Inkum, who's bringing us more information from the Ashanti region. Hello, Evans.
Yeah, hello. Hello, Na.
Thank you for joining us. Where exactly are you in the Ashanti region?
Well, so I'm inside the Asukwa constituency, and this is the Kiravi polling center. It's supposed to have a total voters, voter population of an approximately 1,200. But as I'm talking to you now, only 7 people have turned up to vote. Now, beyond this particular polling station, I can tell you that about 3 polling stations are on hold because the EC could not provide the unit committee ballot papers. And for that matter, they have to be suspended. Beyond Asukwa constituency, if you go to Achuma Fauma constituency, there's a problem like that. If you go to Achuma Wabeja constituency, Achuma Wabeja North and South constituency, there is a problem like that. If you go to Kwabre East constituency, there's a problem like that. So it's becoming a widespread. If you go to Kwadaso constituency, where I reported from this morning, precisely Kwadaso North electoral area, there's also that particular problem. Well, we have been told that the UC will soon address the media on this particular development. I tried to engage the Ashanti Regional UC director, but they said there's going to be a press conference. So he doesn't want to put the card just before the horse. So we're just waiting for those explanations. But of course, I mean, what we picked on the ground is that the printing of ballot papers, especially for the unit committee, it was problematic. And so the reason why some of the polling stations have the elections on hold. But in terms of turnout, it hasn't been impressive because not long ago I told you that Kiravi polling center, we're expecting in excess of 1,000 people. Only 7 people have voted with just about 2 minutes to 9.
At what time did the election start today? At what time was it to begin?
7 a.m. That's what I've been told by
So after
the
2
electoral
hours, only 7 people have turned up.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you were surprised yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Only 7 people, and it doesn't look like anybody is coming because you can see it's only the EC officials here, and then a policeman who has also been detailed to ensure that there's law and order and the smoothness of the exercise as far as this particular exercise is concerned. There are even more than the numbers that have come here to vote.
Can we talk to the EC officials there to find out, especially about the unavailability of ballot papers for the unit committee members?
Well, absolutely. So let's just get closer and see if we can engage. I mean, the officers here to really understand what is going on as far as this particular polling center is concerned. But now let me put in a record that here they are voting, but other areas, that is where the problem is. But maybe they should be able to provide us with some answers.
All right.
I'm not a few.
All right. So let's get the few. Let's fix the few here, and maybe you will be able to get us some answers as far as this particular.
All right, we'll bring Evans back on the line there, but Evans. All right,
my name is Evans Nkume, and you are live on TV3.
Okay.
Yeah. So we know that in some of the polling centers, they are not voting because of. We understand that you're having some issues with the unit committee.
For that one, I'm not aware because I'm managing this place. I'm in Kiravi last stop. For other places, I'm not aware of anything happening.
Okay, what has been a challenge so far here?
So far, we don't have any challenge here. All is well.
Numbers. You are talking about over 1,000 voters and only 7 have voted.
Yes. You know, when it comes to unit committee, here the assemblyman is unopposed. Nobody challenging him, so he did not contest. We are only doing the unit committee members. For that one, sometimes you don't get people to come and vote. So we are only waiting, hoping that others will come as we move on. Yeah.
Are you expecting high turnout from the looks of things?
For that one, I don't know. If the people come, that will determine whether the numbers will be increasing or not. But if I'm to tell you that you are getting higher numbers or not, I'm not in the position to tell you the number that.
For how long have you done this job?
Oh, almost 20 years.
And per your experience, we done about 2 hours after 7 since you started.
Yeah.
If you look at the number of people who have voted, do you foresee more people coming, or you're likely to record low turnouts?
The usual turnout for assembly election and the unit committee election. Unfortunately, this year, as Kwakaravi, we don't have the assemblyman contesting because he went unopposed.
Okay.
For that matter, we only are voting for unit committee members. And for unit committee members, it's only those who are around will come and vote. No, people come from other places to vote during the general election. But when it comes to unit committee election, usually we don't get people coming from other places to come and vote. So for that one, it will move like this. At least if we're able to get about 100 voters to cast their vote by the end of the poll, that will be okay.
Okay, all right. So now, I'm pretty sure you heard a man talk to us. He is projecting 100 out of the over 1,000 people expected to vote here. Well, maybe low turnout is what we should be expecting.
He doesn't surprised at all at the turnout, and he doesn't seem very optimistic that more people will come.
Well, absolutely. Now, and some of us, the experience in covering elections, I wouldn't be surprised that perhaps we are going to record all-time low as far as the Ashanti region is concerned. What I can speak for other regions as well, but for Ashanti region, what we have been witnessing and reporting this morning from 6 a.m. till date, I can tell you that we are not likely to get some massive turnout as was anticipated by the Electoral Commission.
All right. Thank you so much, Evans. Roland, do you want to come in?
Yeah, there was a survey, of course. It's always the Afro Barometer survey. That's within the umbrella group of the CDD Ghana. And critically, the concern has been about the trust for the institutions, etc. And Evans, I would want to ask you, because in relation to the last Afrobarometer survey that was undertaken by Afrobarometer itself, supervised by the CDD, there was the publication and then, of course, the announcement by the CDD that the trust for assembly members had dipped significantly, and even for the various assemblies themselves. How does that also say or reflect on the observation so far because of the politicking of the day in terms of the trust for public institutions, the trust for politically exposed persons, and even assemblymen in the Ashanti region?
Well, so Roland, it's a multifaceted problem. I mean, if we are to have a conversation on this particular development, because if you engage some of the electorate, they are yet to really align themselves with the relevance of these district level election. Of course, I mean, the assembly members, the work that they do or their relevance as far as building democratic credentials or institution from the grassroots to the top is concerned. So it boils down to education. The high expectation from the people within some of the electoral areas also is playing a role beyond the partisan politics that, of course, has crept, I mean, in over the years. Of course, I mean, in the build-up to these particular elections, I have seen MPP, NDC activists actively campaigning for their preferred candidate, especially if you go to Asawase constituency, which is one of the hotspots in the Ashanti region when it comes to elections. I mean, there's some level of high interest. The MPP activists there are campaigning for people that they think are aligned to the MPP. The NDC are also campaigning for candidates who also align with the NDC. So that is also happening. But beyond this, people are now confused as to whether when they need certain level of development, it is only the assembly members that they should fall on. But Roland, from what I'm picking from the Ashanti region, I mean, within the last couple of days, the mood here, and then some observation that I have actually done. You hear some assembly members campaigning as if they are vying to becoming members of parliament, because I have heard an assembly member promising that if you vote for me, I am going to construct road for you. I have seen an assembly member hiring a grader or a heavy duty machine to grade or to level a deplorable stretch. And this particular stretch that I'm talking about is the road linking Ampayo and then Sokoban Wood Village. So that particular road was leveled by an aspiring assembly member. Yesterday, we brought you a story from Ekutuja where assemblyman decided to pay for the fee of residents who were attending to nature's call, who were also disposing their garbage, who were also had to go to places to fetch water because we're having water issues in the country because of the shutdown of the Barakasi Dam. And this guy was paying for them. So you ask yourself, yesterday on Akoma FM, on my show, I asked an assembly member a very simple question. How are you able to gather all these resources into this? And what are your expectations? Because we know that at the assembly, you are not getting enough money to be able to finance what you are doing now. But it does appear that they have some level of anticipation. I don't know where that particular anticipation and motivation is coming from. Maybe in the course of time, an expert will be able to tell us why they are doing that. But I can tell you that the kind of campaign that they are championing is mind-boggling.
Do you have any impact of the current mood or perhaps the psyche of the larger voter population of the Ashanti region because of the national politics of the day, knowing that it is a stronghold of the governing MPP and reflecting either positively or negatively on their participation or enthusiasm towards this district level election in the region?
Of course, I mean, in some of the constituencies, the voting pattern has largely been influenced by which particular political party is in power. So, for instance, in the Ashanti region, with a stronghold of the ruling New Patriotic Party, you see most of the assembly members being aligned with the NPP, because the
Okay, looks like we've lost him there.
We seem to have lost him there. But at the end of the day, I think he's trying to drive towards a certain direction or point, that we have a certain effect of the politics nationally or regionally, and especially the one that has engulfed the governing party on the district level elections. And I think that it's also poignant that he makes the point that it looks like individuals who are contesting for these position at the district level seem to be promising and mimicking what is being done by way of the politicking at the national level, either for parliamentary seats or presidential. And I think that's dangerous for the structure of local government, because how are you going to fund it, really?
That's the question. How are you going to fund it? And if you are not able to, it contributes to the lack of trust that people have in the local assembly.
Yes,
because
certainly.
all these, promises and all these things that they say just to court the vote,
the sympathy of voters
and sympathy. If they are not able to deliver, people will begin to say that, well, that local assembly does not work,
and you haven't done
and then next election year they are not interested in voting, because at an assembly area where there's an expectation of at least 1,000 people to vote, the EC officials are seated and waiting, and only 7 people have voted after 2 hours. And the EC rep says that, well, he's not expecting more than 100 people to come and vote.
It's because we've always had the turnout being less than, is it 30, 50, 40%?
You earlier mentioned the importance of civic education for the local level elections, and I think that was a very, very good point, because earlier we put out a poll on Twitter asking how many people were aware that the district level elections was happening today, and we had less than 20 people saying yes. Less than 20% of people who partook in the poll saying yes. And so that goes to tell us that civic education is important, and even for those who are aware, because of the lack of trust in the system, they are not coming out to vote. And for electoral areas where people actually did come out to vote, like the Sokoban-Naban area, the voting has been postponed to tomorrow.
For example.
So the whole thing, it doesn't look too good.
Well, why don't we try and wrap up and then have the next segment, Cookie having an interaction with Akwaboah. I think the bigger conversation is also the responsibility of the National Commission on Civic Education, and then also the Electoral Commission. And I think that woefully they haven't done too well in terms of the publicization of some of these. I think they are too dependent on the media to anchor or do the ancillary publicization or the public education for them. But,
Roland,
but you have to spearhead the strategy, and I think that they haven't done that.
Well, we'll talk about that, and whether or not even the civic education folks are well funded enough to be able to undertake these projects. But Thomas is joining us on the line now from the Central Region to bring us updates. Hello, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
Good morning, Thomas. Thank you for joining us. Where are you reporting from?
Philip Boys. Just around also the stretch. And over here, we are told about 492 people are expected to vote at this polling center. And while ago, the police picked up a gentleman because he is an agent of one of those candidates contesting the election. He protested that the ballot papers the officials brought were 400 instead of 490. So he was protesting that if the ballot papers are not up to 492, the elections cannot start. So he started doing the protest, and then in the course of that, the Electoral Commission officials felt that he was disrupting the protest, and quickly they called the police to come and whisk him away. So as I speak to you now, he's been taken to the Bakano police station, or the Metro police station. And residents here, especially those from his camp and his friends in the neighborhood, are not really happy about it. Shortly, I'll be speaking to the assemblyman for the area, who this gentleman was working for, and unfortunately, has suffered this injury. Honorable, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So, if you can tell us what exactly happened to your agent.
Okay, so exactly about 7:30 thereabout, we had an issue of the issue not presenting a full number of the ballot sheets.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Ballot sheets that were supposed to be brought to the center. So the ballot sheet was supposed to be 492. We got 400, and we felt it was injustice to start the whole process. So one of my agents requested for the remaining 92 sheets, and what there was one or two misunderstanding, and it resulted in the police coming in. So we are just telling the media that these are some of the issues that is popping up. We should take a quick action on it and report as soon as possible. Because you never know. Probably the 92 might be a secret gate. It might be popping up in our station. We want the media to take it and take a picture.
So, good.
Well,
All right.
so that's it. And I think that the Electoral Commission also might have been minded by the average turnout for the district level elections. And I don't think that if you're a politically exposed person or a stakeholder and you have 400 instead of 490, the voting shouldn't start. Because if you take what the statistics are, when we first had the district level elections, 1998, 89, that would be 1988, 89, we had 59%. That was almost close to 60%. And since then, we've just been hovering the numbers 29, 41, 33, 35, 30, and it's just been continuing.
Yeah, according to statistics from the Electoral Commission, the numbers started dwindling in 1994 and have dwindled since. And so it's unfortunate that in spite of, well, I guess I hope that the exercise will be run smoothly today and be done today. Some electoral areas have had to postpone their elections to tomorrow. Some electoral areas do not have enough ballot papers. We're going to bring you more information as and when we have it during the show and during the course of the day. Stay tuned, you're watching TV3 New Day. We'll be right back.